Kobbie Mainoo made his full international debut yesterday, putting in a phenomenal performance against Belgium. We're going to get into all the reaction from his performance, as well as analysing exactly how he did what he did for England. Also, there is big change-up plan potentially behind the scenes at Manchester United. Talk of new coaches coming in, new managers coming in. You would think immediately to replace Ten Hag. However, there are some reports that it could be coming in alongside Eric Ten Hag. Big shake-up planned potentially at Manchester United. Let's get into the news. Hello and welcome to Stretford, Paddock. My name is Joe. You can see quite clearly that I'm not outside Old Trafford. I am, in fact, in sunny Vietnam. But that doesn't mean I haven't been keeping abreast of exactly what is going on at Manchester United. I stayed up till 4 a.m. last night watching Kobbie Mainoo have a sensational performance for England, and he did not let me down. But he didn't let any of us down. He never lets us down. I don't know what's going on. He's 18-year-old and he hasn't made a mistake yet. It's impossible. But we're going to go through exactly what is going on there. Get your thoughts in the comments and hit subscribe if you haven't already. Let's start with this then. Kobbie Mainoo yesterday playing for England, his first start for the national team in the wake of, I think, Jordan Henderson having a little injury. But it shouldn't matter. He should be playing anyway. Kobbie Mainoo putting a performance not just above his years, because there are plenty of 24, 25-year-olds who aren't as good as that. It's not like, oh, you know, by the time everyone gets to their mid-20s, they're better than he is now. Most England midfielders that I have seen in my lifetime are not as good as this guy is 20 games into his professional career. That's not even meant to be a diss on them. I've seen a lot of players play for England. I've seen some who have gone on to brilliant things. But there's only a handful, there's only a select few that have the movement, the calmness, the composure, the ability to slow and speed the game, the passing ability, the dribbling ability, the tackling ability that Kobbie Mainoo is showing as an 18-year-old. And to come in alongside players like Declan Rice, 100 million, Jude Bellingham, 100 million, some of the most highly rated midfielders in the world, and not just sort of fit in with them, but to stand out and win star of the match against them and alongside them is a phenomenal achievement for Kobbie Mainoo. I've got a few of his stats from the game. 74 minutes played, 42 out of 47 accurate passes, that is 89%. 2 key passes, but it's not just with the ball, it's 5 ground duels won, it's 1 interception, 2 tackles, and was fouled 3 times as well. But he's one of those players that, yes, the stats are good, the stats are very good, but he almost sort of, he's the perfect eye test player. You just watch him and you know he does things that other people can't do. The way he turns and the way he's got this sort of extra movement, this extra step. We saw it that led to the goal that was scored from the penalty by Ivan Toney, set up by Bellingham. But the pass and the instrumental movement before that was Kobbie Mainoo. He gets the ball, he turns towards his own goal and just has a moment where he just hovers his foot over the ball, and then all of a sudden he picks up the speed again and he's gone past 2 Belgian players, slots the ball through the lines, breaking the lines that England struggled so much to do against the Belgium in the first half, gives the ball to Bellingham, he gives it to Toney, and it is a penalty. But it's all the hard work of Kobbie Mainoo, and it's one of those things, isn't it, where we're United fans, we talk about him on the channel all the time. I don't want to overhype him. I don't want him to be someone who gets absolutely slagged off in 6 months' time, 18 months' time, 2 years' time, because he isn't the next Bobby Charlton. But what you can't do is not say what you see. We are seeing someone who is doing things that I really, from a midfield position, I came, started watching Manchester United after Paul Scholes had already come through. I've never seen someone from the academy in the midfield positions do what Kobbie Mainoo is doing for Manchester United now. And to be honest, since I started watching, like I said, post Class of 92 coming through, I don't think I've seen anyone at Manchester United who has got quite the level of composure and maturity for his age, both on and off the field, that has ever come through at Manchester United in the last 30 years or so. It is a phenomenal thing to see. What we're seeing for England is getting the plaudits. Gareth Southgate talking about how good he was, Jude Bellingham talking about how good he was, like I said before, winning star of the match as well. His ability to control the game and control the pace of the game when he's on the ball and when he's off the ball is, again, it's absolutely second to none. Get your thoughts in below. I know it's just me standing here talking about how good Kobbie Mainoo is, but I think when we see the reaction, when you see a performance like that, what else are we going to do? We've got to talk about it. Get your thoughts in the comments below. Is Kobbie Mainoo not just, I don't want to sort of say that he's going to turn everything around for Man United, because no single player can do that. But is he one of the more exciting or the most exciting youngsters you've seen at Manchester United? Get your thoughts in the comments below. Now, let's move on to our next story then. And this is coming out of a few different places. So we've got it from The Sun, but obviously, don't buy The Sun. But it's also coming out of ESPN. There's a sort of 2 or 3 variations on this. And this is the coaching overhaul and shake-up at Manchester United. Now, we'll start with Mark Ogden in ESPN, because I like him more than I like The Sun. And that is, there's potentially United looking at Gary O'Neill. Now, he's currently the manager at Wolves. He's doing a very good job there. Did a brilliant job with Bournemouth last season, keeping them up. He's one of those sort of English managers who seems to me, actually, could do a very good job with the national team. But there's rumours he's coming at United. Now, initially, you're thinking, okay, I'm sick of this. Ten Hag out, get a new manager. But the crucial thing here, and the interesting thing for me, is that this is potentially alongside Eric Ten Hag. Now, this isn't just, he's going to come in and replace him. We've already seen Eric Ramsey leave Manchester United to go and take a head coach's job at the MLS. So we are a coach down. And I like the idea that potentially Gary O'Neill could come in and do a bit at Manchester United, maybe alongside or under Eric Ten Hag. I think he's a very good coach. He's one of those people, though, isn't he? I know this is a bit harsh, but he doesn't fill me with authority. You don't look at him and go, he could run and control Manchester United. He could handle the sort of behemoth that Man United is. But I do think he's a very good coach. I think tactically he's very good. I think that he can instill and help Eric Ten Hag come up with structures, come up with plans, come up with ways of attacking and defending that could help us out. I'm not necessarily against this. I'm not sure it will happen. I don't think I've ever seen it happen, where basically a Premier League manager takes a downgrade in terms of hierarchy. Obviously, the club is a massive upgrade, but taking a downgrade from being a manager to being an assistant manager or just a coach or whatever it may be at a bigger club, I don't think I've ever seen that before. And that's not to say it couldn't happen, and maybe we will see this sort of thing. I don't mean 5 years' time, we could be standing here or sitting in the studio going, everyone's doing that now. Do you remember that time when United were actually a trailblazer for once, where we got out and we poached one of the best young sort of coaches in England, and we made him our assistant coach? Instead of going, the manager can just bring all his coaches with him, we went, actually, well, we've picked, you can have this guy and this guy who fair enough, but then we've picked X, Y, and Z, and they're going to come in and be part of your coaching setup because we think they're the best coaches in the world. That kind of makes sense to me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because obviously it's going to be the sort of appointment that may be slightly polarising. He's one of those people that, is he going to be vying for Ten Hag's job? Do you bring him in and sort of push Ten Hag out the door? I don't want that to happen. But it's a very interesting prospect. And I think this idea of almost building a sort of a squad of super coaches who are all maybe in their right, good enough to manage at a high level, but maybe they don't have this personality, or they don't have that authority, or they don't have that CV, or they don't have that track record. And together, you've got, okay, he's got that, he's done that, he's got that, he can be with that. And you've got yourself a team that is absolutely exceptional. I actually don't mind it. Right then, that is going to be all from me. Let me know your thoughts on this news in the comments. Kobbie Mainoo, absolutely sensational for England again, and a potential managerial shake-up at Manchester United as well. Give me your thoughts in the comments. If it is potentially O'Neill to take over from Ten Hag, what do you reckon? And if it is instead a sort of super team of coaches going on behind the scenes at Manchester United, what do you think to that possibility? Right, that is going to be all from me. Make sure you get your thoughts on this news in the comments. Kobbie Mainoo, sensational for England again. Get your thoughts on just how good he is in the comments, and this potential managerial coaching super team thing that United could be building. Let me know your thoughts in the comments as well. I'll be back for the news next week. Jay will be back tonight with Stretford Paddock Live, so make sure you tune in live. But that's going to be all from me right now. Thank you very much for joining me. This has been the news. We'll see you in a bit.